Hello, everyone. Welcome to Life Guidance Beyond. This is
Jenna.
And I'm Deborah. Thank you for joining us today. And today
We're going to do something fun. We thought, let's do a tarot spread. And I often like to start my year off with this exact spread. It starts with a theme for the year. And then the second card is the obstacle and the opportunities for growth. Mm-hmm. And then the third card helps you see what might transcend that challenge that you've got, the obstacle. And then there's a card for every month. So I went into the Akashic Records of the United States Collective.
I was going to say that. Good.
And then I pulled the cards. I said, what should the collective know in the U.S. this year? Like what are we? What is the prediction for the year? And so the first card I got is the Three of Scrolls, and so the suit, and that's what scrolls is considered in this deck. The suit is scrolls, and scrolls represents communication. And in this card, there's two men trying to figure something out in a paper. There's another man looking out over the boat bow with binoculars. And it's like they're seeking clarity in message, in communication. So the theme for the year is communication within the U.S. and deciphering it properly. And then the second card is obstacles. And so this is the Seven of Roses. And roses represents relationships. And it doesn't just have to be romantic. What I get from this is family and friend dynamics. So the potential obstacle is the dynamics of people amongst the U.S. and perhaps they're looking at communications differently or seeking out communications about the U.S. in different media outlets. And that may make them have separate ideas, separate beliefs, and therefore it's hard for everybody to really connect and get along amongst friends and families because it's been very divisive.
And that makes me even think of communities, like neighbors or the neighborhood or towns, and the difference is kind of splintering even communities or neighborhoods apart.
Yes, exactly. And I find it fascinating that communications is like this theme of the year, because that is one thing that is very obvious, that there's a lot of different messages out there, and what you discern as truth can be very different from another.
Yeah, and even the messages in different states are very different. Someone I know just traveled somewhere and she's saying, I went down to this state and you should see the ads even, or what's on the news even. It's completely different than what we're seeing a lot of the time in Massachusetts. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. And so the next card is the advice for transcending the obstacle. And this is the Four of Keys. It's called Clearing the Way. And the suit of keys are achievements, confidence, authority. And when I saw this card, immediately I thought, there's something blocking our path and somebody has to help us. But then there are these two people that they're going to do it themselves. They're going to clear the way themselves. So they've got this log blocking their road and they need to move it in order to get by. And so this really resonates with me, because if we have relationships that are challenging right now because of the situation happening in the U.S., this is a great way to to come together, to unite and to work together to move the obstacle ourselves. We have power. We have power. And maybe we've forgotten that. So we need to keep that in mind throughout the year and to come together in community over things that we can connect, like unite us, things that unite us.
Which is exactly what the channeling last episode was all about. What I found interesting about this is that's no tiny log, right?
It is massive.
That's heavy, right? And so there's two people there, and the neat thing is it's a man and a woman.
Oh, that is nice.
Men and women are coming together to move that. So I think that's something pretty interesting considering there's women movements that are starting as well. And what I was telling you earlier that I feel like is, we may feel like we're very distressed and there's just chaos all around us. But if we can step back from that a little, I really feel the good that can come out, is meant to come out of this, is us coming together. Communities coming together on a micro level and on a macro level. Coming together in America, even perhaps coming together with the world. But really, I feel like America coming together is so important. And these things are trying to push us to evolve and to come together and really see the power of the people, the power that we have.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is a beautiful way to look at the challenges right now.
Yeah.
The outcome could be amazing.
Yeah, and every challenge we can try to learn from and gain from, right? We can try to find the positive and the negative, I always say.
So, do we want to see this month?
Yes.
All right.
Drum roll.
So I pulled a card for the month of April. And we've got the Queen of Roses. And again, this is relationships, emotions, families, inner conflicts. This is a female leader stepping forward. You know who comes to mind is, what did they call her? OAC?
Oh. Yeah, AOC.
AOC. Yeah. There's some type of young leader who has this poise, stepping forward. It feels female. And so maybe this month we will see some female power stepping forward. That would be amazing.
And I feel like there's even starting to be a movement of women overall starting. Really? I know there was a women's march that was part of the protest, so I think women are starting to come together more and more as well.
And I'm going to just go ahead and look at May because it's nice to have some hope, and this looks like a good card. So the One of Roses, commitment. So we've got a lot of emotions running high, right? We've got the obstacle is emotional. And then we've got this female power. There's an emotion behind this stepping forward. And this One of Roses card is called commitment. And I feel a sense of positivity with this. It feels like there's going to be some kind of commitment for some type of balancing out of the chaos that we currently feel. It feels like someone's going to just step in and take control and help balance out. It feels economy related to me. And it really feels hopeful. Good. There's a lot of light in this card. I'm feeling like positive emotions, joyous emotions. There are flowers, roses on this. And it feels like what I would consider May. May, there's a lot of blooming of flowers. So it feels like new beginnings, actually.
I'm also wondering, like with the word commitment, I'm thinking, would it also possibly mean more of a community coming together and making a commitment together as well?
It could. It may not just be this one person. That's a great point. This one person could have the ability to unite people. And then that movement you were talking about, it moves into the next month where they're making a commitment to help.
Yeah. And the interesting thing is every single card, there's light in it. The first card, there's a rainbow. Then there's a sunset. Then there's light shining on a house in the distance where people are headed, and there's a open window to the queen of natural light, and then there's light here, almost like a guiding light. So it's almost like the light can signify hope, even hope in the darkness, or light. I think I was mentioned the last time, the dark night of the soul, like looking for the light.
Yeah.
When you're in the dark night of the soul as a country or as an individual.
I'll look at June.
Okay.
Let's see. Oh, this is a good card.
And there's candlelight, so that's good.
Yeah.
There's still light.
This is, this card is Adsum, is called. So this is a major arcana. Major arcana cards are big milestones in a lifetime. So this means this is a big milestone for our country, because that's what we did a reading for. And this, it feels very infused with celestial guidance. I see an angel behind this woman. I see some fairies. I see a deceased, probably loved one. I see a couple, another deceased loved one, and then a living, smiling human being behind her. And it feels very, talk about hopeful. This is a great card. So it feels like a turning point.
And again, there's a man and a woman.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even the deceased are together, man, woman. Interesting. So it feels like not just human beings are helping and to come to a resolution, but the whole universe is trying to help us. They're working with us. Like our loved ones from the past are whispering guidance to us if we will listen. There's angelic forces around trying to help bring comfort to people during difficult times and to protect. So this is pretty awesome.
Yeah, and I think it's important what you're saying, that they're here supporting. So if you're feeling despair at any time too, they're here for you to connect with, right? Whether it's like a deceased parent or loved one or an ancestor or spirit guide or whatever you connect with.
It's a good reminder to ask for that help.
Yeah, ask for help, ask for support.
They can't intervene because of the law of free will. They cannot intervene with our life unless we ask.
And a listener was telling me how that was really important that we mentioned that in another episode. Like you have to ask.
Yeah.
Because of the free will. So don't be afraid to ask.
Right.
Instead of just waiting for it to show up.
Right. Right.
Which is all about taking power back in your life, right? Ask for the help you need. Ask for the answers.
Because they're just waiting to be talked to. They're twiddling their thumbs.
Yeah.
The spirit guides and angelic beings that are around us, they're there to help guide us. And we're just not really ever taught that.
Right.
So we don't even know we have that support system to pull from until quite often some type of a horrible situation arises and it forces you to break. And then they're there and it gets very evident.
And I really firmly believe that our deceased loved ones are always like coming in and checking out and watching us and looking over us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And you can always ask for a sign if you feel like you're having trouble connecting.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Be specific. Pick an animal.
I picked a blue car for my dad.
Oh, really? So when you see a blue car?
Yeah.
Oh, neat.
Blue is his favorite color. And I was looking for a car at the time to buy. So.
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah.
And you asked him to tell you if it was the right car by showing you?
No. When he passed away, I started seeing blue cars everywhere. I'm like, I told my daughter, I think that's Grandpa saying hello, since he loved blue, and I've never seen so many blue cars in my life. So now that's like the symbol that I put to him.
Okay. So he knows to show you a blue car when you ask for a sign from him. That's neat.
Yeah. So, overall, how would you sum this up? Like, where we're at, what's coming?
Well, I feel more hopeful now. I am actually
Good.
quite relieved because this is not something you can fake, right? Like these are the cards; they are what they are, and it definitely can see the challenge, the theme for the year. It just really resonates, the communication, and we're all on a big journey together right now. And the second card was the journey, and
it looks like it's up to us to clear the way.
it really is.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's exactly what we channeled last week.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's
time for us
cool.
to shine, right?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. It's really what a long time ago what became with revolution. And I'm not saying war. I'm saying revolution as like we're evolving as people together, as a community together. It's time for us to evolve into that community without caring about like race or sex or like any of that.
Right.
That's not the purpose. That splits us, and we're not meant to be split anymore.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. That is definitely the vibe I'm getting. And it's really like we're saying it, but we may need people who are in a bigger position, like this Queen of Roses individual, or a group of people like that who have very loud voices, who have a lot of confidence, and they have a platform like a queen has, where they can say, all right.
And connections even.
Yes.
I think of a queen with connections.
Yes.
Like,
I really feel like there's a rallying call that will happen, and that is April. That's this month. So we'll see if a rallying call happens. I mean, the protests in themselves are a big rallying call.
The interesting thing is Bernie Sanders and AOC had like a huge turnout in Denver this month even.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's no matter what you believe or who you like or don't like, it's time to evolve into us all just coming together more as a whole, like not just our small neighborhood communities, but really feeling the wholeness of America.
Yeah.
And the wholeness of how we help build America, right?
Focus on the things that we all want collectively.
Right.
What do we agree upon? Let's start there.
Not what we disagree. We've been talking too long about what we disagree upon, who's what party, and all that does is it creates more separation. And now is the time. I think we came into such separation that it's time for it to balance back. Like,
right.
The world's really about balance. When you get so out of balance, you're going to have to come back.
Yeah. Like a pendulum.
Yeah.
It's going to swing the other way.
It's a great image. Yeah.
Well, this was fun.
Yeah. So communities unite. I'm anchoring myself in light. Raising my vibration, connecting with all. Hello, my dear ones. Yes, as you are talking about community, this is what we try to show you, is that you tap into us as collectives. Jenna and you open up as U.S. collective in the Akashic Records. When you talk to the Pleiadians, you talk to the collectives, as well as one person that also stands out and represents the collective. So when it connects with us, it is this more collective process of connection, and that is exactly what it sounds like you have obtained in the cards. That is the message, is that you are not yet seeing yourself in its America as a collective, and this is greatly missing, and that separation has led you more and more away from a collective, and you can think of in past times, even in past times of war, or even COVID times, or so many different times, you have been so separated, and then you are forced to come back and work as a collective to regain and obtain even more of what you see and foresee that you want in your homeland. And so just as we are a collective, we're able to talk to Deborah by connecting to all these different wisdoms and different energies. And this is a good representation of how you as a country can work together as a collective with all these different wisdoms that you all possess, even different cultures that live in the homeland of America. It's important because each culture has their own wisdom. that is so important for coming together and helping to evolve the homeland of America. So we just want to reiterate this theme of community, this theme of even deeper of collective. And as we look less on the superficial, we go even deeper, as we have told you in the past, how you are all one, you are all connected, you are all one of the same. Each person has a spark that unites together as to a huge light of creation. So on a deeper level, we also want you to realize that you are collective on a more soul level, a spiritual level. There is more than just ideas and thoughts even. There's the yearnings of what you want. So many of you yearn for the same thing in a collective way, yet you separate yourselves from one another, when how beautiful and easy it could be just to come together, since you guys yearn for the same thing as well. But you tend to have emotions bring you fear, and that fear and then anger, it separates you from the collective, from the power of who you could be and actually who you are, and who and what the country, the community even, can be. It has gone so far from that. And so people talk about ascension, awakening, but what it really is it's time really for all of us to come together as a collective, as collective souls, as collective human race, as a collective Americans. And Americans, I mean people who live in America, right? Everybody who's living here. And responding together, responding as a community, a collective community. And so, yes, there will be difficulties, and these difficulties are meant to urge you, if you accept the task, to become more whole, to become more united. And again, this is your choice because of free will. Thank you.
Wow. That was beautiful.
So I guess I agree with
yes. It's a very consistent message.
It is. It is very consistent.
Last week when you channeled, and now here it's the United States, the Akashic records, right, and all-knowing ones.
And I almost feel like saying too, like the Queen, this Queen can take it to heart. It can represent even the feminine power within you, whether you're male or female, right? But also I feel, don't wait for someone to come and take the lead.
Yeah.
Because you can also take the lead. You can also help with the change you want. Don't wait for someone, right?
Right. That was
Feel
the
the
point
force
of this.
within you.
This whole card, the point was, don't wait for someone to come clear this log out of the way.
Do it yourself.
Do it yourself and do it with others.
I think there's many ways to take it, right? Because whenever there's group dynamics, usually there has to be a leader or several leaders even, right? To help provide a sense of direction, right? That's
right.
In group dynamics.
To corral.
But what's interesting in group dynamics, usually there's one leader that starts in a group, and then sometimes people become more comfortable, they feel more empowered, and then there's another leader that comes out in that group, even if there's still one teacher.
That's true.
Right? So even if there's like one teacher or a few teachers, you can still be a leader in that group dynamic, in that community, in the whole collective.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that's important because we're here to experience our power as individuals and as a whole.
Right.
So.
And we happen to have a podcast coming up with a special guest who's going to talk about that.
Yes, so please come back next week, 2 weeks. It's going to be very exciting, our guest, and we're really going to be talking about feminine power, and she is an amazing channeler and creates affirmations and amazing meditations, and she's going to end the podcast leading us through a meditation so we can tap into our own feminine power. And no matter what your gender is, we all have that feminine power that I feel like we need to tap in more. And I also feel like more and more, now is the time to connect to that feminine power too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And we'll tell you what feminine power is because it's not necessarily what you think.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I just love how Spirit is guiding all of our communication with our audience because I like, as a communicator, I appreciate good, solid communications, and I just feel very like there's a cohesive message here, and that makes me very happy.
Thank you. Yes. And I think we need to keep, so as we said at the beginning, tap into your guides, your ancestors, your loved ones. If you need support or help, it's there, right?
Yeah.
And yes, even just ask, why is this happening? What am I meant to learn from this and gain from this? Right? What is the purpose?
Because there always is one.
Yeah.
Always.
And it's always not what you think, right? It's the underlying purpose.
Right.
Maybe not the purpose isn't to dismantle anything. The purpose is really, well, we couldn't seem to get our act together as a whole, so we got to get pushed a little more, unfortunately.
Right.
That could be very difficult ways. I'm not making light of it at all.
Well, we hope you enjoyed this episode.
And love your neighbor.
Yeah. Oh, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
Thumbs up. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it, and we really appreciate your comments, and also when you reach out to us with your comments and questions. We really appreciate that. In the future, we will be having an episode where we will be going through your questions too, so please keep them coming.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.